Walter Lantz was one of the pioneers of the golden age of animation. He became inspired to get into the industry after watching the groundbreaking cartoon Gertie the Dinosaur in 1914. Lantz's journey eventually led him to being hired at Bray Studios, the same company responsible for the Fleischer Brothers and their Out of the Inkwell series, which included live-action shorts mixed with their groundbreaking cartoon character, Coco the Clown. Lantz tried his own hand at a live-action animated series called Dinky Doodle, which was a success for a couple of years. After Bray Studios closed its doors in 1928, Lantz moved over to Universal Studios, which was looking to get into the animation industry. Their star character at the time was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, first created by Walt Disney and UB Iwerks in 1927. But after Universal and Disney parted ways, the Oswald cartoons took a drop in quality. Something needed to change in order for Universal to keep their star characters head above water. Universal's co-founder Carl Laemmle agreed to put Lantz in charge of Oswald Productions after losing a poker bet to him. Under Lantz's supervision, the Oswald cartoons were re-energized and production continued on for another few years. But as the 1930s progressed, rival studios were riding on the success of their own lovable characters, while Universal soon found themselves being left behind in the dust. They needed a new character to help keep their animation studio relevant. Universal and Walter Lantz tried out many ideas, such as Andy Panda in 1939, but audiences weren't biting. Then, in 1940, an Andy Panda cartoon called Knock Knock would introduce the exact character that both Lantz and Universal Studios were looking for.
Guess who?
Audiences loved how energetic and expressive this little woodpecker was. You never knew how he was going to react next. Lantz and Universal tried out the woodpecker in a couple of other cartoons, and soon Woody Woodpecker became a star, and is now Universal Animation's flagship character. And the one cartoon that many professionals say is Woody's greatest is the 1944 classic, The Barber of Seville, at number 43. The story, like the title says, takes place in a barber shop where Woody, voiced by co-creator Ben Hardaway, enters to get his hair done. When he finds the place empty, he decides to do the job himself, as well as serves every customer who comes into the shop. It's hard for me to critique this cartoon fairly because I'm not really a Woody Woodpecker fan. I like the character fine, I just didn't grow up with him as much as I did Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry. I just don't really find him that funny. I mean, the potential was there, the animation was great, but the comedic timing was weak. Because of that, as far as great cartoons go, The Barber of Seville doesn't really stand out to me. In fact, if it wasn't for this cartoon being on the 50 greatest cartoons list, I probably wouldn't give it a second look. But that's not to say there aren't some good things about it. One of the biggest highlights of the short is Woody's new design, done by Art Heineman and Emery Hawkins. Earlier designs had shown Woody with buck teeth, a receding chin, and short stubby legs. And I have to say, this is an improvement. Woody is far more appealing here compared to the grotesque look of his original design. But I think the part that stands out the most is the entire second half of this cartoon. Woody gets so immersed in his work that he breaks out into an opera number, which seems like a good time to bring up the fact that the title refers to the classic comedic opera by Italian composer Gioacchino Rossini. Here, Woody's voice is taken over by singer Lee Sweetland, and it is pure chaos. The speed and timing of the animation, the rapid-fire editing, and the music synchronization have all been turned up to 11 as Woody goes full psychopath and wrecks the place. The madness just won't stop. It's out of control. Safe to say, nobody who watches this cartoon is going to forget this climax anytime soon. In terms of Woody cartoons, I would say that this is one of the better ones, but when comparing it to other cartoons of the time, I personally don't think it's one of the best. I hate to put Woody down since he's such an iconic character, but that's just how I feel about it. But people did love him enough to keep his career going, and he is still around today. At least he has a fan base out there that is keeping his popularity going, and I have to appreciate that. I may not be a fan of the character, but I do respect his legacy.